What does the Hudsucker Proxy actually mean?
What the hell is it?
Both the name and the story. And what's the deal with the blue letter and the giant clock and all the circles?
You know, for kids.
Today we are overanalyzing the Hudsucker Proxy and the idea that the future is now. Hello, I'm Kevin Harris, and I help people understand themselves by helping them understand the stories that resonate with them. The Hudsucker Proxy begins with a shot that basically tells the whole story. We see a stylized New York City looking vast, cold, and impersonal.
They're all trying to catch hold of one moment of time. To be able to say, right now, this is it. I got it.
The camera glides toward Hudsucker Industries, where we meet our two main characters, Norville Barnes, who is considering ending his life, and the giant clock, which is about to chime in the new year. Yes, endings and beginnings. We then jump back in time to see Waring Hudsucker. Yes, that is his name, Waring Hudsucker. We watch the president of the company jump out the window and fall to his death at exactly noon, the same time that Norville is starting his new job. Before he jumps, Mr. Hudsucker even winds his watch. It's almost as if fate works like clockwork.
Because we live or we die by the clock.
First of all, the name Hudsucker doesn't really have any real meaning. I think the Coen brothers chose it because it is fun to say, and combined with his first name, Waring, you can make some fun jokes with it.
Say, buddy, when is the sidewalk fully dressed? When it's Waring Hudsucker.
Any meaning that it has comes from this movie. Proxy, on the other hand, does have meaning. It is the authority to represent someone else, often without real power of their own. Norville Barnes, who had just started working that day in the mailroom, first becomes a proxy when he is selected to deliver an urgent message called a blue letter on behalf of the late president, Waring Hudsucker.
Is that a blue letter? Hold on, folks, we're expressed to the top floor.
That would have been the end of his proxy status if he had actually delivered it and wasn't instead selected to take the place of Mr. Hudsucker as president.
What we need now is a new president who will inspire panic in the stockholder.
A puppet. A proxy.
A pawn.
Sure. Some jerk we can really push around.
When Waring Hudsucker jumps to his death, the board of directors needs a temporary figurehead, a fool they can control while they drive the company's stock down and buy it up for themselves. Norville, a man with no business experience, is the perfect fall guy. He's placed in power not because of his ideas or talent,
Would an imbecile come up with this?
but because he's seen as expendable. He thinks he's running the company, but the real power lies with the board, specifically the mastermind behind everything, Sidney J. Musburger. Norville is given the title of president, but not the authority.
As president, the ultimate decision is yours.
Oh, I'm for it.
Norville is also the proxy for the audience and those of us who believe in the American dream. The idea that anyone can rise to the top with enough ambition and hard work. Norville believes in this dream, but the Hudsucker Proxy shows that corporate success is often arbitrary, rigged, or manipulated. Norville is a victim of corporate greed and dishonesty, a machine that will chew him up and spit him out. This is represented by the incessant ticking of the giant clock that the entire Hudsucker Industries building seems to be a part of. The larger-than-life clock seems to have mystical powers. It is the face of karma, it would seem.
A great wheel that gives us all what we deserve.
It operates on the same principles that keep the Earth spinning around the sun.
Other than the clock, the rest of this Art Deco world seems to be made up of sharp angles, repeating patterns, and bold symmetry. Circles themselves in this world are rare and seem to have magical powers. They are welcomed organic contrasts to the monotony. They often represent inspiration and even divinity.
Hey, I like that thing. We're all wearing them upstairs. It's a fad.
Speaking of mythical powers, there are two side characters who seem to represent much more than the jobs that they fill. Aloysius, whose name means great warrior, is often seen changing out the names on the office doors, and seems to represent fate and justice. He locks the window behind Norville after he climbs out on the ledge, and gives Musburger the file on Amy Archer's true identity. Alternatively, there is Moses, who keeps the clock working.
I keeps the old circle turning. This old clock needs plenty of care.
The clock can be seen as more than just cold, cruel fate. Moses seems to be all-knowing.
I expect old Moses knows just about everything.
He seems to be a symbol for God, and as we'll find out later, second chances. The name Moses means to pull out or draw out because the biblical Moses, as a baby, was found in a basket that was pulled out of the Nile River by the Pharaoh's daughter, much like Norville is pulled out of time to be rescued. Hudsucker's motto is, "The future is now," and this is true in Norville's case. The future comes too soon. When Norville first arrives at Hudsucker Industries, he's just another nobody in the mailroom, a kid with big dreams.
Take a look at this sweet baby. I developed it myself. Yes, sirree, this is my ticket upstairs.
He hopes to work his way up through patience and effort. Instead, he is thrust straight to the top. He quickly experiences success and even romance. And what does he do? The same thing most people do when they rise too fast. He lets it go to his head. Norville believes he's earned it, that his success is because of his idea. You know, for kids. And he starts shooting down others with just as good of ideas as his.
You know, for drinks.
But the system that raised him up discards him just as quickly.
Business is war, kid. Take no prisoners, get no second chances.
His ego is shattered. He is quite literally pushed to the edge. And the moment that we saw at the very beginning, the one that time kept pushing forward, finally arrives. According to Sidney J. Musburger, there's a rule in this world.
When you're dead, you stay dead.
But rules, much like a circle, can be bent. Endings can also be beginnings. Moses uses his power as the keeper of the clock
It operates on the same principles that keep the Earth spinning around the sun.
to stop time and pull out Norville from his fate.
Strictly speaking, I'm never supposed to do this. But have you got a better idea?
This results in a fight between the janitor and the clock keeper, a fight between fate and mercy. Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, Amy Archer,
Enter the dame.
There's one in every story.
is also in a fight over Norville. Being a reporter, she is a proxy for her newspaper, and they don't seem to care that her initial desire to smear Norville, fate, has now changed to a more merciful stance and even a love interest.
You lost it, Aim. You're gone soft by the looks of it. Soft on the dummy from Dubuque.
Months.
She sees in Norville the greatness that only Hudsucker Industries realizes at the end. The spirit or angel of wearing Hudsucker appears to Norville, not as a businessman, but as something greater, a deus ex machina, literally God in the machine. He was part of the system once, but now he has transcended all of this.
Any particular reason you didn't give him my blue letter?
Hudsucker reminds Norville of the blue letter that was never delivered, wherein Hudsucker describes his mistakes, which seem to echo the mistakes we have seen Norville make.
I have made grave errors. I have let my success become my identity. I have foolishly played the great man and watched my life become more and more empty as a result. My vanity drove away she who could have saved me.
Oh, Norville.
The blue letter also says that wearing Hudsucker will give all of his stock in the company to whoever the next president is.
I hereby bequeath all of my shares in Hudsucker Industry to whomever you and the board shall elect as to succeed me as president.
And just like that, Norville is given something that fate was never supposed to allow, a second chance. Because yes, time is like a machine. The system is cold and cruel, but there's something else at work here too. Something that transcends all of this. Mercy. Norville doesn't just survive, he's transformed. He isn't the same clueless kid who walked into Hudsucker Industries. He's been humbled, broken, and in that breaking, he's finally ready to become what he was meant to be.
Now, Norville, he went on and ruled with wisdom and compassion.
How often do we get things right the first time around? Almost never. Life is unpredictable, but second chances come when we get back on our feet and brush ourselves off. It is important that we give others second chances and that we give them to ourselves as well. It's easy to be cynical, but remember, the rules can bend, and endings are also beginnings. Angels are pulling for us, so don't give up. True success comes from authenticity, persistence, and believing in oneself. The future is now. And that is the moral of this story. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications.
If that's all.